how easy is it to just type a few words
Oh, shit.
on an anonymous platform? Forget it. Now you're creating mobs, even if you're just talking about whether or not cheese is better on noodles. Like mobs. Yeah, for sure. So this is it. This is a question that creates mobs. Most people, of course, are going to say they rather work from home.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
There's so many sides to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess we should do something now.
Yeah, so let's do it.
You're gonna be okay? You decompress now?
I think so. Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think so?
I'm worse than Nick.
How long you've been working from home? You were from home in the past, right?
I did. I worked from home several times, but for the longest time I worked from home, I think was about like a year and a half.
Yeah. Still.
For a year and a half. Yeah.
What did you enjoy? And hate?
What did I enjoy about working from home? That's a good question. A lot of things.
Right.
Making my own schedule, being in my own home, and not have to travel. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, the commute is a big thing.
The commute is huge because it's not just economically huge. It's it's time consuming.
Yeah.
So really, yeah, sure, you go in for an 8-hour workday, but really you're doing 10 hours.
You know that I've been traveling a lot in France, and so I know a lot of people there. And it's very common that they commute for 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours at night.
In France.
In France. The traffic is so heavy.
Mm-hmm.
For the people at the time that I spoke to, yeah, like they had family members who actually had to be 2 hours in the traffic in the morning and 2 hours at night because they just can't afford like leaving closer to Paris. And that's the alternative, right? And because Paris is obviously super expensive.
Yeah, for sure.
So for them, I totally understand that you know, working from home would be a big thing. But
I mean, similarly, people here move to Ontario to work in Montreal because living in Ontario, especially in the outskirts of Ontario, is so much cheaper than living in Montreal on the island. So they are willing to do the 2-hour trip.
They do? Wow.
A lot of people do that. And with me too, same thing. I don't live in downtown Montreal.
No.
And if I wanted to, I couldn't do that either. No. So, you know, and then of course, it's not like like we were talking about, the trains are going to get shut down next year.
Yeah.
You know, it isn't the easiest commute.
I remember at the time, like in 2010, Tony was trying to convince me to move in Montreal because he's on the West Island too. And I'm like, no, I'm really good on the South Shore. It seems to be high traffic, but you know what? It's not. Like I took the bus this morning and 45 minutes, I was like, okay, takes me pretty much an hour with the walking and getting to the bus stations and everything.
Okay.
But once I'm in the bus, it's 45 minutes depending on the traffic, and they have, dedicated lane, and it's very convenient. And then when I take the car, like yesterday morning, obviously, I left super early.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna take it tomorrow, but I try to drive before the traffic, and on Friday there's not much traffic, so my commute is ridiculous, like 35 minutes.
Wow.
So it's faster for me to come here than for you and Tony.
Yeah, and you don't even live on the island.
I'm on the South Shore.
Wow. Yeah.
And I'm not on the first city. I'm not in the first city on the South Shore. I'm like 15-20 minutes after that.
Right.
So yeah, I visited West Island.
Yeah.
Like.
How many times? You can count on one hand, I bet.
Oh no, I did. Like when we were prospecting to get to buy a house, like we did.
You looked in the West Island.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
We actually rent an apartment on the east side. I'm from Montreal.
Okay.
And we were looking there, but anyway, I do not regret South Shore whatsoever.
Well, at least the east side has metro stations. or subways.
Yeah.
They call them subways
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
States. You know, West Side does not.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
that sucks.
Does not.
For sure.
Just to get to one would take the same amount of time. I may as well just drive all the way downtown.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I don't understand the train that they're going to shut down next year
Yeah.
in 2020 somewhere. I don't understand that. You told me that they're going to have shuttles, right? But you also said on the same token that they have like 30,000 people taking that train every day.
30,000 every morning.
That's a
to
lot
commute,
of bus, you know?
Yeah, to commute to downtown Montreal or near it to get to work.
So for sure, the working from home in those situations makes sense for the people, right? Does it make sense for the company? Like,
well, even for me, that I am commuting to downtown.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense that I feel like it makes sense that I'm going into an office.
Yeah.
Okay, like going back to my experience from working from home, sure, it was nice not having to commute.
Yeah.
And it was nice being in my own space. There was a lot of pros.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of cons. I think the biggest thing I don't miss about that is when you're working from home and you are making your own schedule, which could be a good thing, but at the same time, especially if you're self-employed,
Yeah.
I don't know, I haven't done so much. I've done some work working from home while I was employed from a company, so I had tasks that I needed to do.
Yeah.
And I was, sitting at my desk the whole day. I didn't have a choice.
Right.
And at 5 o'clock, I'd punch out, meaning I'd just close my VPN
Right.
and wipe my hands clean of it. But especially as self-employed, you work from home, you're working all day, every day, all night, even. Even when you're not sitting at your desk working, you're thinking about work.
Yeah.
Weekends come. Guess what? If you haven't finished what you needed to finish, you're sitting and you're working,
Yeah.
and you're working and you're working, and then it becomes like a personal challenge, whatever
Yeah.
you're doing, a personal goal, and then you get invested in it, and then your life becomes work.
Yeah. Well, look, there's a few different situations of working from home, right? There's working for yourself, or
yeah.
you have your own business, but basically you work for yourself. So that's one. You're working in a company, and you could do work from home. And there's also people working from home because let's say that they work for a call center and they've been provided with a phone and a system. And when they start working, they press the button, and when they go for a break, they press a button, and they don't get calls. And if they get a call and they don't pick up, then someone is gonna obviously know. To me, there's probably those three types of scenario that you can work from home. But if you work for yourself or your home business, you have no choice, right? You're responsible for your own revenue. So that's probably going to work in most cases.
Yeah, because if you don't work, you're not getting an income.
But see that, I have a home office,
Yeah.
and it's been super expensive to build that home office. I wanted something super nice that I feel good in.
Yeah.
I even had a waterfall. I ended up was too noisy, so I sold
waterfall in the office.
In my office, in my home office. So I got the designer to come. We made something nice. So I'm set up. I have my second screen and my different lights, so I feel good. But you know what? I'm not able to spend more than a few hours in it. Not because I don't have discipline. I just don't like it. If I have work to do on weekends, often I'm going to come here because I feel that I'm going to be more productive here in this office on my desk than if I do it at home.
It becomes situational too.
Yeah.
You associate the place you work in as the place you work in, and the place you relax as. They say don't hang out in your bedroom because if you're doing all your hanging out in the bedroom, then you're not going to be able to sleep in your
Right.
bedroom, right? So
For
if
sure.
you associate your bed as somewhere you're awake and doing things,
Yeah.
you can't sleep in it.
Yeah.
And so that's another point about working from home. if you don't have an office.
Yeah, associations are major.
They're huge.
They're major. Like, and here's an example for me. I've realized that actually last year. Every time I mean, less now because my associations are being broken because we just renovated.
Yeah.
But as soon as I would sit on this freaking couch, I would start feeling tired, and I would not be motivated to do whatsoever, because I'm assuming that over time I would be working a lot of hours here, go home, sit, sleep, go work the next day, and so on weekends I sit on the couch and I'm start being like tired and less now. So that's why also I don't watch TV anymore, pretty much.
Oh wow.
And I don't watch news. I don't like. I try to not provoke it. Like,
you need to get another chair as a wake-up chair.
Pretty much.
Like only sit on the couch on the weeknights and that chair on the weekends.
Well, at that point, if I want to stay around, I'm gonna go on the the island in the kitchen.
Oh yeah.
Because the seats are high.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like relaxing on
Well,
these.
you can't fall asleep on a
and I'm
bar
just
stool.
there. I'm having lots of water, or tea, or something, and I'm chatting with people in the house. But associations are huge, which bring me to this, because it's the same thing for work. Now, I'm convinced that a lot of people would love to work from home because they hate their work. They hate their job. And they don't like their work environment. They don't like their job. So their association every time they go to work is pain. Is
like,
pure,
I don't want to be here.
It's pure pain. And so for them, working from home is a relief. It's an escape, right? And so, yeah, for sure. Like, it's someone, I find that a lot of the time people try to convince themselves that working from home is productive. In reality, most of the time it's an excuse. You try to convince yourself that you will be, but like, for example, you've been working a year and a half at home, right? And I've been working at home for 2 years.
Okay.
And then I've been in an office for 5 years working for someone, and now I'm since 2010, I'm the owner with Tony. So I saw like 3 sides, not of the middle because there's 2 sides, but I saw 3 sides, right?
Right. Working
from home, although I'm super disciplined and I'm super hardworking, and you are, you can not say, anyone who works from home can't say that they're super disciplined, super productive every single day. It's impossible. Did you ever slack off while working from home?
Yeah, of course I did.
Everyone does it.
You convince yourself that, you know what, if I put the TV on in the background,
it's gonna make sense. Yeah.
It's not gonna disturb my work.
No.
I'm gonna be fine. You convince yourself that, and then you put the TV on, and then
you have your phone with notifications, and then some notification on the screen of your computer for.
Oh, of course, because you're working from home. You may as well have your social media on. You don't want to be lonely, Yeah. You don't. So it's like, so you're lacking that social aspect. So you make up for it by going on social media, and like, I'll just read the news, and it's so much easier to give yourself the chance you can tell yourself, like, okay, well, I already worked like 2-3 hours, my brain is tired, this is creative work. Creative people, and it's true, creative people, problem solvers, they can't always be on. It's exhausting, but
and then you start talking to yourself, trying to find excuses why you should not sit and work. Because I've been so productive this morning. I actually worked half an hour more yesterday, and actually I've worked another day over a weekend like 2 months ago. And you try to find all kind of excuses to justify you not working a full day. I'm not bashing on working from home. I do believe in some cases it works. Like, you need to have a framework, you need to have a system, and people do make decisions and take action based on leverage. Leverage is
huge.
Everything in life. Think about any decision you made in your life. You had leverage on you. It's people don't see that, but if you decide to move on another job, that's because you have leverage. You made up leverage in your mind. that you're not good, or you're too good, or you're not paid enough, and this and that, and then you build a leverage, and then you want to move on something else.
Right.
And that's the same thing for any decision when you buy or move, or change car, or in spring when the sun goes out and you feel like changing a car, and now the sun becomes a leverage. And that's the same thing for working from home. Now, if you work from home and you have no leverage, the employer doesn't monitor, really trust you, or doesn't matter if you work the full day or half the day, because you're going to have the same pay at the end of the week. You lose all the leverage, which is going to end up affecting your productivity. And this is 100% guaranteed.
Right.
And I'm sure there's going to be people looking at this and being like, oh yeah, right, no, that's not my case. I'm cool. I'm sure there's exceptions, 100%. At the same time, the person saying that is just like me and you when we were working from home, finding excuses and thinking we're right.
It happens.
In his book, what's the book? The book about how to influence people and make friends. And anyway, I forgot the name.
Yeah.
I think it's Carnegie. And I don't know if it's in this book but anyway, it means this. Even Al Capone thought he was right doing what he did. So everyone think he's right. Everyone, when they make a decision, they believe they're right. We're all human.
Right.
I mean, there's 7 billion humans, 7 different type of people.
Right.
And so doesn't mean it worked for everyone. Like every time someone here say, "Can I work from home?" I say, for which reason? What's the point?
Right.
And also because we trust the people a lot here, and you said it to me yesterday that we don't micromanage at all. That also means that if we tell someone, yeah, you can work from home, and we do not monitor what the person's going to do, we have to accept that it's not going to be as productive as when the person is here.
And that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to the business itself. Okay.
Right.
At the end of the day, how is the business run? Right. You're working. Let's say you're an employee. You're working for a business. Right. And we're going to go back to that micromanaging because we should maybe go more into detail.
For sure.
If you're working at a company that micromanages, first of all, that's exhausting for everybody. It's exhausting for the people micromanaging. It's exhausting for the people that are being micromanaged. Then, in that case, maybe it would be less stressful for the employee to work from home since they're going to be micromanaged anyways.
That's an escape.
It's an escape for the employee. Yes, it is. But if they are being micromanaged, then there is that leverage, and chances are they're going to be as productive or even more productive because of the lack of stress.
Oh yeah, no, you know what? That's a very good point.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
I didn't thought of it, and it makes total sense.
Yeah.
So if you have a very very bad environment or ambience, and
for sure you're going to be more productive somewhere you're more comfortable.
Fair enough.
But if you're working in a place that you're not micromanaged and you're trusted at that workplace, then how could you justify saying you would be more productive at home? Maybe more productive in terms of balancing your social life and work life, because you can do laundry while you work, you can do dishes, cook, spend time with the family while you're working.
I don't remember where I saw that. It might have changed, but I had saw that when you were being interrupted, or when you interrupt yourself while working, it takes half an hour at least to get back into focus and where you were. So if you're at home, like let's say I'm at home, even today, like if I work, I mean, soon I'm going to have to work a bit from home because I have an appointment during the day, and I know that I'm not going to work the full day. I'm not going to be able to work the full day. I'm not going to feel good enough. I know in the first few hours I'm going to be like my prime time, 6, 7 in the morning to 11 or so. After that, I need to do things that doesn't require my pure focus. And I know during that time it's going to be totally fine. After, in the afternoon, appointment, come back, look some Slack messages and email. But I'm just being honest. It's not possible. It's not possible to be 8, 9, 10 hours a day at home and be focused because all right, let me go upstairs, I'm going to make a tea. And then, oh, there's something on the TV. Oh, the delivery guy just passed. And you don't have this in a work environment like here, because there's someone else that's going to go get the delivery.
Yeah.
There's someone else that, I mean, there's an automatic coffee machine, and you don't have to wait, and you don't have, I mean, it's built in, I mean, it's not perfect, obviously, but it's made so you're not interrupted too much.
Right.
Right. At the same time, there's managers walking all over the place, so the leverage comes. So you have to work.
Right.
And
The screens are exposed.
Screens are exposed, and
so there is some managing, of course. But
yeah.
I mean, every business needs some form of management.
Yeah.
It doesn't work without
and
it.
it's not a negative leverage that I'm talking about. It's normal leverage.
Yeah.
It's normal supervision. I mean,
You're expected to work.
yeah, Silvio's going to walk and go see a developer here and ask for an update. The developer knows that it's going to happen during the day.
Right.
So
He should be ready for
I
it.
have to do it.
Yeah.
Right? So to me, unless you're over passionate and addicted to your work and what you do in life, working from home can't be productive. Unless you're working for yourself because you have no choice. You lost your job and now you decided to be on your own, or you left your job and you decided to be on your own, and you burned the ship and now you have to build your new one.
Yeah.
You have no choice.
Yeah.
Right? So you're gonna make it out. This is another form of leverage.
But of course, like putting an absolute on this subject is almost impossible, because every industry also has its own, like you mentioned before, some people have the phone at home, they press the button, I started my shift, okay, I'm going on break, and all this could be checked all the time from the company itself or whoever's managing. But these companies, this is like a strategy of theirs. They're investing into setting up home offices into their employees' home.
Too.
Yeah, so now they don't have to rent out a space and fill it with desks and whatever. But this is an investment that they're making. And so for example, I read an article where they studied like a bunch of people that they were asked, the new generation was asked, would you rather work from home or work at the office?
Yeah.
And of course, with the world of the internet these days, they all answered they want to work from home.
For sure.
They all did. And then they're saying like how they're so much more productive at home.
Yeah.
But there's no way of proving the productivity, because there's no one there to watch you and see you, unless you're being micromanaged, or there's that button that you press, log in, log out, or whatever. But in terms of a company, for example, like our industry, you have developers, and of course they'll want the option to work from home. But now that would cost you double as an employer, as the way I see it, right? Because you're paying for a workspace, but desks are being left empty. It just doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, for sure. The space is unused, and you can't use it for something else.
Right, and you're investing in this space. You're investing in the food you put in the cupboards for your employees, and the coffee, and in the location, And so.
Yeah, because the metro station is literally like 100 feet when we exit here. Like you cross the street, you're
right there. You're right
that's
there.
That's really cool. Actually, if we go back 3 years ago, the office we had was quite close from the metro station, but not as close as here. And the office before, we actually had to do a 15-minute walk to get to the metro station.
Okay.
Or take the bus. So for sure, this location is great for that.
And we're in a famous building. I think I checked it out yesterday. It's built in 1927. This building.
Yeah, I was going. It's almost 100 years old.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous building.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Yeah. And there's you said in our industry, and actually, let's say in our company.
Our company.
Okay, for now, for what I'm going to say is the only. To me, I'm cool with some working from home when it's to help someone. when it's to, I mean, my whole thing is about helping people, right?
Yeah.
So if we have a great guy, he's going to be on the podcast soon. And so Raph, the other Raph, you know, he has some family issues, and sometimes he needs to take care of his little sister and brother.
Yeah.
But I know this guy it's such a great, I mean, he's a hard worker and he's disciplined, and that's actually why I want to talk with him about.
So there's trust involved.
Yeah, because, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, there's some other people who burned the bridge already here. You know, they've tried, and then you try to reach out to them during the day.
Yeah.
It takes 10 minutes, half an hour before they reply to you. You try to call no ones, or you send a message on Slack. No,
You make your own bed.
No, I'm gonna burn my own way of seeing, of verifying. But on Slack, when you're by default,
yeah.
if you're connected on your computer, but you're in sleep mode because your status is away, and you have it on your phone as well, there's a delay of 2 minutes by default for phone notifications. So, and I've saw it multiple times in the past. I would text someone, ask a question, look at my watch. 2 minutes later,
yeah.
The light becomes green. The person become active. Oh yeah, I'm working on it right now. BS. You know, I know you're not. And just don't lie to me. Don't be, you know, I'm not fool. At the same time, there's some people like Raph that I was talking about. I know this guy is working. He's always there. And Raph is not alone. There's other people like that too here.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure, there is. You're just giving an example.
For the staff who's watching and listening to that, like, there's other people that are really good. And actually, Chloe's there. I know she's, you know, when she's you know, stuck with the kids at home, I know she's working. Like, it's like you end up knowing your people too.
Yes.
And
yeah,
also
that's a
knowing the
huge
people
thing.
that are not disciplined enough at home, you don't do it. I was also, a few months ago, I was talking with another company, a CTO of another company in the same building. And we were actually having a conversation about that. And so I asked him, do you believe with your developers and other staff member working from home? And he said, normally we don't, but when we do, it's the whole team that does it. And I'm like, you know what, that's quite smart, because if you have a few guys working together all day and they collaborate every single minute, every day, and now one guy wants to work from home and the other guy say, okay, we're going to work from home too. They all work from home. They all communicate together. So no one can escape from it, right? So you have the leverage, again, about you have to make it happen. You have to be there. You have to work. You have to commit the change. You have to do what the guy asks you.
Yeah.
It's all comes down to the leverage. Now, here, we don't have leverage. And I'm being honest. Like,
yeah.
I tell when we hire someone, I tell the person, look, you're going to be trust day one. Now, if you want to keep that trust, it's up to you. No one else going to be responsible for that. And you're not going to be told how to do shit. You're not going to be told, I mean, we hire you because you're supposed to be good. We've tested you.
Supposed to be.
Yeah, we've tested you. Now, sometimes we do mistakes for sure.
Yeah.
We've tested you.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be told how to do things unless there's another lead that knows the project or you don't agree with you, a senior. And at the end, so we do not micromanage. And at the end, if you work from home, you choose if you're going to keep the trust or not.
That's what I was saying. You make your own bed.
So exactly, that's a pure bet. That's totally a bet.
Yeah.
And you work from home and you decide to work 5 hours instead of 8, and you make up the time when you log your time, you take a bet. But everything happened to be known.
It's a gamble, yeah. It's a gamble. And you can't fool an employer, especially you've been a leader of a team. How about that?
Only people here can say if I'm a good leader or not.
Okay.
I
didn't say good, I said leader.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the difference. But look, we did a lot of mistake in the past. I know that.
Yeah.
And I've been doing a lot of mistake myself. So that's how you learn. That's how you progress in life, right? So the people who hates me from the past and still hate me today for some reason, even though we didn't talk for 10 years, I never, even the people who hate, that I do hate in the past, I have no feeling against them because everyone changes. Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone, I mean, from a year to another, they're becoming a new person. How many times did you met with someone that you knew when you were younger, and you're like, holy shit, that person is no longer my friend, no longer what, like,
Oh, so often.
the feeling that I had
So
with
often.
my best friend of my teenager. I mean, I look, when I became alive, I don't know how to say that. So when I was born,
Yeah.
2 weeks later, a girl in the same house, because where I'm coming from, my parents' house is stick with another one.
Okay.
So it's a huge house, but there's two houses in one, so it's separated and everything. But so the neighbor, the immediate neighbor, 2 weeks later, became to life too, and so we grew up together as a brother and sister, right?
Huh.
So and that's another story, but that's probably the only use case scenario that I believe that men and women can be friends.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
from birth.
Yeah, exactly.
Or before the hormones kick in.
That's it. So never in 100 years I had fantasy about her.
Right.
And she was gorgeous. And so we grew up together, and I've been seeing her probably around until my 20, beginning of my 20 or so.
Okay.
And we were always together. And she would go study in another city, and I would, make an hour, 2 hour trip and go see her, spend some time with her. That was just my little sister type of thing. And I saw her a few years ago, and we super happy to see each other. We hug each other and super happy. And I've realized that it's not the same person anymore.
Oh, for sure.
And I've been so disappointed. So disappointed. Like, and everyone changes. Long story short, everyone changes.
Yeah.
I did change a lot in the past years. I'd always try to improve myself. I'm not perfect. So I'm just saying that the people that I used to hate and the people that used to hate me, we would meet again and we'll probably be, having a good conversation.
Because you're
together.
both different people now.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, this whole working from home topic,
Yeah.
especially now,
It-
since
And people get sensitive about it.
they're
for some
so,
reason.
because everybody likes to be on the extreme of things. Yes, it's
Yeah.
good. No, it's not. It doesn't have to be
there's no
yes,
gray area.
and it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be no. It's all, this is a big it depends.
Of course.
Like it really depends on so many circumstances. Who you are you self-disciplined enough?
Yeah.
Where you work, is it a stressful environment for you? Can you really be more productive at home? Because it's possible
Yeah.
that
And it also depends on the environment. Like, I don't know in which video it is, but if you search, if people search Simon Sinek, he's quite known about the Four Seasons, the Hotel Four Seasons Las Vegas. So he's giving a good example about the environment makes the person and not the person. It doesn't depend on the person. It always depends on the environment. So you can, like, I don't want to tell the story, but it's worth looking at it and watching it and listening to it. It's crazy.
We can add a reference in the comments.
Yeah, let's do that.
So,
let's put this in the description.
Sure.
That video to it, and like it reminds me also at like I never had a normal school path. Like I didn't do regular school. I was too special and not special in the right way, like in the wrong way. Like I didn't like school at all. So I always did some special, and to a point where, since you're fucking it up all the time, they just want to send you on the job market. So now you're gonna do a program that's gonna make you learn things, and then find an internship somewhere.
Right.
I'm 17, and my first internship was just freaking terrible. Like, and I was good with computers at the time, and so I went to a computer shop. The guy was such a bully and a piece of shit. It was terrible. He would just make me mop the floor instead of make me play with the computers and do super stupid things. To a point where one day I tell my teacher I'm not going back there, and she's like, okay, stay home, try to find another one. I call a few computer shops, and there's another one in another city that say, yeah, you know what, come meet us. Went there, first day they give me a computer. All right, install this and install that and repair this, repair that, and that's been like big difference. And even my teacher, like at the end in the report, said like, I really thought this guy was fucked up and he would never make it in his internship.
Yeah.
And the environment actually changed the person. And I did work there after my internship, and so
you continued, once your internship was over, you continued to work there?
Yeah.
Okay, they hired you as an employee. Okay.
17 years old as a computer technician.
Yeah.
So, that video was worth watching, and it just confirmed that it's not always the person.
Right.
The environment helps a lot, positive or negatively, and
right.
that's it. So, like you said, working from home depends on so many factors.
So many.
Including the environment, because you brought a good point I hadn't thought about. And if your environment is poisons, and working from home, you're going to be more productive because you're not in this, cancer environment.
Yeah, think of a call center. I mean, I won't pretend I haven't worked in one. I have. I've worked in several call centers.
Right.
Okay. You're in a cubicle.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And they separate this cubicle with these walls like this around you so you don't get distracted. Yeah. And everyone around you is constantly talking.
Right.
Constantly talking. And you're expected to sit there and make tons and tons of phone calls.
And being told, I don't want to talk to you, and go fuck you.
And your sanity is literally cracking.
It's
cracking.
It's a
every
pure
day,
negative job.
the crack gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And so I think that if I go back in time, when this wasn't an option, this whole working from home for call centers, I probably would have done a lot better if I was at least in my comfort zone, no noise around me. And I think it's proven, actually. They said the percentage rating was super high. For call centers specifically, the production goes way up when it comes to working from home.
Oh, for sure.
For sure,
For sure. That's why, we would have 100 people now and have 2 minutes with them right now. We would have 100 different versions of why or why not they would be a good fit to work from home. We would have so many versions.
But there are so many commonalities. And I think the biggest thing people could agree upon is working from home helps balance social and work life.
Yeah, but at the end, what does it bring to the employer? That's the thing.
That's it.
I mean, it's on the pro. I mean, on the pros and cons for each. I mean, for whether it's the employee or the employer, there's way more benefit for the employee. So it becomes a perk at some point, right?
Right.
So I mean, but in a business or in a company like ours, where our business model is based on the hourly, we invoice hourly, and it's not like. Working from home, you have to make sure that you have a framework and a system that's going to prevent people from escaping and just do a good work. And we don't have that, because if we would have it, that would mean we would also micromanage some people.
Yeah.
And I don't want that.
Right.
When we acquired this company in 2010, the first thing we told each other, Tony and I, and because our past work environment and bosses and that wasn't positive at all. Underpay and overworking, and felt like slave, and we said, let's create an environment that we would like to work in. Now, I mean, it's been a long road since, because like I said, we did screw up a lot of shit. At the same time, the you know, it's, I don't want to micromanage people. I want to let them be themselves. I want to, you know, that's how I would like to be managed myself.
Right.
Right?
And
Sorry, we're not in the 70s anymore. You know?
You know, and I was gonna say that, like, stop me if I'm wrong, but if I understand things correctly, a workday's always been 8 hours, and there's always been commute. Okay, so
Yeah.
why is it all of a sudden such an emergency to be able to work from home? There was not even that option back in the day. The option.
Well, I guess because the option wasn't there, people would never ask about it. And now because at some point in the evolution of the world, the option became available, and so it exposed people from asking. It's like social media. Like today we tell, like, holy shit, social media is crazy and people are nuts. I mean, people didn't change in the past years. Social media just made them being exposed. But
Yeah.
we were judgmental as much as today, like 20 years ago. You know, it's just that we had no platform to do it.
Yeah.
Right? So.
And it wasn't as easy to speak up verbally and physically in front of somebody.
Yeah.
You weren't gonna call somebody and be like, blah blah, I disagree with what you're saying. How easy is it to just type a few words on an anonymous platform? Forget it. Now you're creating mobs, even if you're just talking about whether or not cheese is better on noodles. Like, mobs. Yeah, for sure. So this is it. This is a question that creates mobs. Most people, of course, are going to say they rather work from home.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. If you ask someone if they rather do that, it's always going to be
the best people we have here right now do not want to work from home.
It's about, I think,
they just don't like it.
From what I understand, it's about having the option in case it's necessary.
Exactly.
And which is something that's given if you've made your bed properly. Have you proven your trust? Have you been allowed to work at home and you actually worked? Did you come out as somebody that's that can be trusted by your employer? If so, why would you be told no?
Yeah.
You know, why? So any employer in their right mind,
you abuse it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's
do
just
it too
like,
often.
well, I want to work from home 4 days a week.
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah. We had some scenario like that. Actually.
I'm sure you did. Yeah, I'm sure you did. Because that's what people want. They want to be the exception, of course.
They want everything. They want all the benefits.
Yeah.
They want the cake. They want the butter. They
But
want bread.
a lot of people will agree that the social aspect of going into work is super important, and it's people that are in a good environment and surrounded by good people. And another thing is, we were talking about teams working. You know, you were talking to the guy that said their teams all work or don't all. Teams have to trust each other.
True.
In order to work. Because if I wanted to talk to somebody, and my work relied on this person's answer or something I need them to do for me, if they don't answer me, I'm stuck. If I'm here and everyone's here, I can just walk to their desk and be like, hi, hello, hey. It's because I really need this, you know?
Course.
But if not, I can call them.
Yeah.
I can unless I go into my car and drive to this person.
That's why I said working from home, to me, it's working. And it's okay if you just want to help someone, if you want to accommodate someone, like the Raph example. And it's funny, just before that conversation starts, someone just asked me about working from home during the year, and I trust that person. You know, I know that person for a few years now, and so probably that's gonna work.
Full time?
No, not full time.
Okay.
For a few days while being in another country, but like I know that person, I know that work ethic of that person, and it can work for sure. It can work.
Right.
And if everything has been said before and decided and agreed, it's okay. You're gonna do this. You're gonna work from that time.
Under these.
Your team is gonna be here by that time, so you need to be there, and you do.
Yeah.
You know.
Terms and conditions.
Totally.
Meet halfway.
Yeah. So at the end, if we don't, if it helps the person and we don't lose in exchange, I'm cool with that. But we did saw, I mean, in the past months, or last year, I can't remember, but someone who would always have an excuse to work from home because one day is the baby, one day is the wife, one day is this, one day is that. And then we try to reach out, and it takes half an hour before that person, reply, and it's like, okay, I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
And so you lost the privilege. It's
Yeah.
over. Do not.
Because it is a privilege.
I mean,
At the end of the day,
if someone
it's a
feels it's
privilege.
not a privilege, and that person feels should be working from home all the time, then become a freelancer.
Yes.
And have your
Make
own
up your own
business.
rules.
Find your own clients. Be responsible. Be accountable.
Yes.
And don't make me waste my time with that. And
Yes.
it's we saw that in the past. Like there's about 2 years ago, someone left here, and before leaving, he said, "Nah, you really should consider that. Would be a great perk. There, I'm gonna work 3 days a week at home." And like, well, good for you, but I don't believe in that. It's unless like
I don't even know what the office would look like. If
it's
everybody was able to work a few days a week from
exactly.
home, you wouldn't even know who to expect to see when you came in.
No, exactly. And now, I mean, instead of being 40 people, now every day you're 25. So the the environment is less nice, and you don't see the people you were thinking you would see, and the vibe is less nice, and it's also for others. It's not just for you. And personally, when I use the word company, for me, it's a group of people, and we're in the same boat together, and we try to build something and do something.
Right.
It's not about individual people. That has nothing to do with that. That's why I don't believe in giving bonuses to one person or privilege or big. I mean, it's unless that person's doing the extra mile all the time. I mean, it's a teamwork, and that's also why you have to let go the people that doesn't work well with the group, because you're penalizing the other people.
Right.
And when you let let's say we let today 4 or 5 guys work from home, there's not going to be much action here. So during lunchtime, there's going to be less people talking together.
Socializing.
If some people want to use the beer tap tonight and have a beer, there's going to be less people having a beer together. So it's not just about you, and it's never about you.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it's good to take a step back and try to put yourself in the shoes of others and see, okay, well, if I'm not here, how is that going to impact the people around me? And in all this, we haven't once mentioned the client. When we have a team of developers working for a client's project, how would it look if they each had their own Skype screen just to be able to speak to one client? When we're promising them that our team is working together
That's it.
to build their project,
Like a developer here who's stuck with something is going to, either is going to go on Slack and ask, does someone knows about this? And someone else is going to stand up, go see that person, look at the code with that person, and find a solution. That's what we bring. We bring that added value to our client, because when they work with one developer, for example, they really work with the department. They work with a full team of guys. They don't work with one person, right? It's collaborative. It's never a one-man show. Never.
Even
ever.
if there is one dev working on one project, it's so much speedier to be able to, instead of being stuck and having to do all the research yourself, you have 40 other developers around you that can help you with this problem. So the projects are going to be built way faster in the end.
There's pretty much no chances that the problems you're having, no one in the company already saw it.
Right.
There's pretty much no
We
chance.
have so many brains.
So you're working from home, and let's picture a scenario. You're working from home. You're stuck on your bug, right? You don't know how to do it. Now you start searching. 3 hours in your research, you still didn't find it, right? 4 hours, 5 hours. Oh, finally you find the answer, when you had actually someone here that was here, knew how to fix this crap. You would have spent 30 minutes instead of 5 hours, and we saw that multiple times, because in the past we had some people who would never ask for help, just try to figure out some shit by themselves.
Okay.
and to a point where we have to get involved because, man, what's up? And oh, I'm stuck with this, I'm stuck with that. Is anyone here knows this? That yeah. 20 minutes later, it's done.
Right.
And that pisses me off so much. Like, it's, man, just speak up. Like, we're a team for that reason.
Right.
And working from home, you lose that, obviously. No, I mean, no, again, some people is going to be watching this or listening to this and be saying, whatever, that's bullshit. I work from home with Teams. We're on Skype. We're on Hangouts. We're on Slack. We're on this. We're on that. It works perfectly. Yes. Are you a freelancer?
Right.
If you are, you have leverage. It comes down to leverage.
Right. Your work equals your pay.
But at the end, if your boss trusts you enough to tell you, here's the project, I want you to build this. If it's done in 2 months, I'm cool with that. Right? You don't have a daily leverage, and you know that you might be able to build it in 5 weeks instead of 2 months. You're probably going to take 2 weeks vacation over time. If you put everything together.
Right. Half a day here.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm cool. I'm in advance. I'm almost done. And then you're in conflict of interest because if at the end, and now it doesn't mean you're a bad boss if you do that. You just mean you trust your guys. And if they abuse from your trust, then they don't deserve to work with you. But at the end, let's say it's a 2-month thing, and 5 weeks along the way, you get it done in 6 weeks. Now you're going to be in conflict of interest. Are you going to tell you're done? Are you going to wait a little bit to buy some time because you're feeling pretty good about it? You're feeling relaxed. And then you might tell that person 7 weeks later because you're like, I still saved a week, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this to just be negative or cynical. It's the human nature. And in most cases, like I said, people feel their right to do that. Why would I? It took me 7 weeks. He's gaining, I'm gaining, right? And it's
like the project's done in time.
Yeah.
I have extra time for myself. Yeah.
I know a lot of people working from home, and I unless like the example of the call center, the people I know, they enjoy it because they don't have to commute. For them, it's just a job, although
Right.
they hate it.
Right.
Right? It's just a job, makes good money. They're fine working from home. Most cases, it doesn't work as expected, and it's like the grass is greener on the other side of the street.
It's always like that.
It's like in January, like in a party, and you're like a bunch of guys. Hey, we're gonna run a marathon this summer.
Yeah.
And you guys go online, you subscribe, right?
Uh-huh.
It's super easy to subscribe. Now you start training. It's not too bad. Like you say, okay, I ran a couple K here and a couple K there. I'm tired, but I'm gonna get better. And then you need to run 8 and 10 and 15 and 20K, and then you're like, holy shit, what? I'm giving up, right? So, and then you go back to your half an hour training session, 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Because it's much easier.
Right.
People don't have patience naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally, my mother she's been, she's the most patient human being I ever see on earth. Like, there was a that has nothing to do with the subject, but just to express this. She was explaining me when I was younger, like she actually, I don't want to say demolished, I'm not sure how to say that, but she basically unmount a full house by herself and removing every freaking nails of every piece of wood by herself during a few weeks. And she it's crazy. We don't see that anymore.
She demolished the inside or the whole house?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I was young. I have this vague memory about it.
Okay.
And she would just recuperate the wood at the time. That's what we needed, right? Because you can just go. We're super spoiled today to be able to buy everything that you need, and it's just at the store next corner. So they would recuperate the wood and nails and to recycle. To build something else after.
Right.
And she would just freaking remove every single piece of nail. And she did things, it's incredible. But we don't see that now, right? And patience is something I had a hard time with also. I didn't grow up with a lot of patience, and I regret that a lot because patience is what brings you where you want to go. Mm-hmm. And it's not related also to working from home, but as another example, since there's this trend of instant gratification, what really annoys me is when I see young people, and I'm not saying like just beginning of the 20s people, like the millennial type of thing. Like we all been some sort of millennial. Right?
Yeah,
Like
we're all part of some
I mean,
generation.
when you were like 10 years old, like I'm sure you heard like, oh, it's not like in my time, and you're so lazy. Go outside and do this. And now we say the same crap to the millennials today, and actually they're gonna say the same crap too. Imagine, but I'm having this funny thought of seeing like my daughter or no, my son. My son is a full gamer, and let's say that 20 years goes by, he has some kids, and he's saying, you know, it's not like in my time. In my time, I used to play on a PS4. You know. And now you're playing in virtual reality or any other crap that's going to be there 20 years from now. But I was going to say that one thing that bothers me is that sometimes I feel some people lack patience, and so they're going to work in a company, let's say a year, 2 years, or less than a year, and now they're going to want something else, and they don't communicate. They don't express what they want. They don't say where they want to go with their employer. Now, I mean, their employer might be a piece of shit too, and don't want to listen to anything.
Right. It goes both ways.
And then they just decide that they're gonna move on something else. But in reality, if they had a little bit of patience, maybe the employer would have been fine with bringing them where they wanted to be, making them grow, maybe having some stock option at some point, and grow financially with them. Like, but if you change, I mean, the people. I don't say if I had one. I don't want to say if I had one advice to the millennials. Well, let's say it's an important one.
Okay.
Is be patient.
Yeah.
Be patient, and stop switching jobs every year or so because you're tired of this, you're tired of that. Build with them. Try to be involved. Talk with them. Now, I mean, if they don't want to listen, that's something else, right? But over time, you're gonna get much quicker to where you want to go, as opposed to be switching 5 jobs in the past 8 years,
right?
Because you're just being an employee every time. You're not evolving.
We haven't reached the technology of telepathy yet. Nobody can read your mind.
Exactly.
You know, you need to actually say what you're thinking in order to be heard.
I can fix what I don't know. I can help you go where you want to be in 5 years from now if I don't know.
Right.
You know, you need to speak up, you know.
Right.
I had an interview yesterday night with a really good guy. He probably going to join. And I asked him why he want to change. And he's like, yeah, I need new challenges. Fair enough. So he's been there for 3 years. And is the company great? Is the company's awesome? I'm like, oh, good. Why you move then? He said, because I need new challenges. But why? I mean, did you speak? Well, not really. I said, why? And as I was digging up on that, I understood, because that company has one product. They have one product. They all work on the same product. So after a few, I understand that. Like, it's okay. After a few years, you did contribute. You don't see new things. I mean, okay, fair enough.
Yep.
And then I asked him, did you talk to your boss about it? And he's like, no. Why? To me, we're in 2019 now, right?
Yeah.
So you should be able to speak with your employer about your feelings, about you might want to move on something else eventually.
But like you mentioned before, not every employer is open to listening.
And here the answer he gave me, because I asked him why he didn't talk to him, and he said he had a great relationship, and I'm not. Anyway, he's such a great guy. I'm sure he's going to be on this podcast eventually. If he joins.
That's fun.
And so he's been telling me yesterday night, I did not talk to him because I was afraid that it would burn my relationship with the guy. And since I would stay there until I find something else, I didn't want this vibe. I didn't want So I don't know his boss, right? I don't know him,
Right.
but he told me the company is great, so that's very positive to me. So the person must be great, but that person probably didn't. And I did the same thing too. Like I have to repeat it over time to people. Like, please come talk to me. I'm never gonna fire someone because you say in 3 months I might want to move on something else.
Right.
You know, it doesn't work like that. Like, let's just plan things. Like, it's gonna be good for you. You're gonna have the time. You won't be pressure by the time. You're gonna be good with us. We're gonna have a great party when you're gonna leave. You know.
Yeah. If you do it properly. Yeah.
If you do it properly.
Exactly.
You know, so. Like we have someone here. He told us 6 weeks in advance. Like, okay, I think I'm gonna need to move on, see something else, and that's super respectable. I appreciate that a lot. I give a lot of value to that to me.
Yeah.
And a few years ago, then another guy, he approached us, and he's like, yeah, I got this offer. I don't know if I'm gonna take it, and he's like that literally. Like, he said, I want to talk to you guys. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
The offer came to him. Yeah. So he wasn't like actually looking. Yeah. There was somebody like, that approached him.
That's something that I find interesting, but I really like it here, and I don't know. So, well, think about it. Appreciate it. Then 2 weeks later, he came back and said, yeah, I think I'm going to do it. And is 4 weeks notice good? Oh, we had a great time with this person.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciate that. I hate when someone just decide on the spot, like, come from the left side and just say, hey, you go, you know what, I'm going to leave, and say, because I feel it as a lack of trust to me. Do you think
over time, with all your experience, it's the same people that kind of just like a Band-Aid, they come see you and tell you, okay, I'm leaving, and they do it quickly, are the same kind of people that were more quiet and didn't ask for help?
I could not find any correlation between.
No correlation, okay.
No,
I guess.
There was some very like close people that did that, and some very like, not introvert but extrovert.
Okay.
People that did that too.
Okay.
And it might be because they're shy, maybe because they're afraid, they want to have a backup plan. I don't know.
You know, it could be past experiences haunting them too.
Yeah.
I mean, if I think back, so many decisions I make now have a lot to do with my past experiences.
Of course.
We're going back to association now, right?
Yeah.
You're associating. Well, I had a conversation I tried doing this with an employer, and then I tried again, and then I tried with another employer, and it always comes out negative, and you just think to yourself, even though they tell me it's not going to be negative and they're open to listen to me, I'm sure it's going to go super badly.
Yeah.
It's going to go super badly. And so back to association. Always back to association, I feel like it is. Yeah. But they say
I guess the question the person needs to ask him or herself is, what I'm speculating in my mind about, is it justified? Is that person like my past experience, you know, and
they say you are your memories, basically.
Yeah, but you can change your association though. There's many ways to do that, but most people don't know. Right?
Well, I mean, there's Google. How do I change my associations?
Yeah. But there's Tony Robbins. 100%. And
it'd be great if people commented about their methods of breaking associations. Actually,
yeah, why not?
I'd love to hear about that.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know what I realized lately about breaking associations? You know, I had a few crappy days lately, and breaking the pattern, or let's say the pattern. The pattern
it's
in the bad
it's a pattern.
states,
Okay. Yeah.
Is just talking with people. You know, yesterday morning, for example, I came. I wasn't like I had a crappy night. I wasn't feeling so good.
Right.
And then I spoke with someone for like an hour, and I was starting to feel good about it. And then you came in, and we spoke for another half an hour.
Yeah.
And I was just pumped up about it, just super fired up. And I forgot about my issues and things. And the day actually ended up being probably the most positive and productive day of the past few months.
You just mentioned another positive reason why going into work
100%. Like,
is so vital.
We have someone here who had a problem with his relationship, right?
Right.
And that day, that person's like, I think I'm gonna go home. I don't feel good. I'm super devastated. And we're like, are you sure? And my 2 cents, man, is maybe you should stay here and distract yourself. And that's what he ended up doing. And the day went by, didn't think much, being distracted. The next day came, the next day came, the next day came.
Right.
So he didn't miss work because of that.
Yeah.
I really think you cannot be home when you're having a problem. You need to do something. You need traction. Like, it's momentum. Like when you push a car on neutral,
Right.
you know, it's hard at the beginning, but once it starts, the momentum started, and you need to not stop. And it's the same thing when you have something crappy happening in your life. You need to take action, do something, and eventually the momentum's gonna start. And
It's like if you're home every day anyways, every day you're home, you're gonna get used to being home. You're gonna be less likely to travel for things. I mean, think about it. You don't even have to leave home now. You can do groceries online.
right,
All your shopping. Forget just groceries. You
Everything.
can do all your shopping online.
yeah,
Plus, you're gonna be working from home. What do you ever need to leave your house? And you can do all your social interactions online, right?
yeah.
Everything with strangers. You can meet strangers online or talk to friends online. I mean, you don't have to leave your house. I think what's important for the future, personally, and this is just a personal opinion, is that people need to not rely on the internet. I mean, there has to be a movement at some point where people are like, okay, I'm going to purposely do this physically so that I avoid falling into this trap of,
Yeah.
locking myself in and only relying on the internet. I know people who literally never leave their house.
It's hard though.
Ever, ever, ever.
You know, I told you I just renovated my kitchen and living room, and I ordered so many shit on Amazon because they were there. Whether it's a sink or the tap or
But-
some lights, and I didn't want to go over the weekend to the store and begin to shop about the lights, and I just ordered.
Okay, but I mean, in some cases, for example, you don't work from home,
Right.
right? You forcefully leave your house every morning. You have to make your trip back every night, and it's so in some cases you can allow yourself some exceptions,
Yeah.
especially since
Right.
I mean, you probably saved a lot of money by doing that because I mean,
Oh, yeah, for
comparing
sure.
prices online
Incredibly.
versus going store to store to store.
Example is
And-
the light. The light. I went to a light store. The same freaking light was like $250 or something like that, but it was above $200. And I got them like for 60 something on Amazon.
Exactly.
Oh my
I
goodness.
mean, if it's economical, look, I'm not saying don't be smart about it.
Yeah.
I'm just like they say, time is money, right? Yeah, sure, you'll be saving time if you shop online, but time to do what?
Yeah.
What you're replacing that with?
Yeah,
Is it
no, you're
is
right.
it worth it?
And probably if I was working from home all the time, I would find excuses to go to the store and buy something instead of home. Because I would
Exactly.
like to escape the home. Right?
Because you don't want to be working.
Yeah, no.
And
That makes sense.
like
That
I mean,
makes sense.
I've had jobs that I love. When I worked from home, like I loved my job. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't a pain to work, which then in turn became an obsession.
Yeah.
Which is also a problem. When you love what you're doing and you're doing it from home, there's no stop button. There's no stop button.
No.
How do you stop? There's no.
Yeah.
Take it from, and then you burn yourself out.
Yeah. I totally hear that. In closing, for the people who would, I'm sure there's some people that's going to be judging me for what I said about working from home. They have to know that when I did, okay, I'm a region guy, so I'm not coming from Montreal. I'm not coming from anywhere close to Montreal. I'm coming from a place where it's 6 months winter, and it's probably minus 35 right now,
Oof.
Celsius. I don't know in Fahrenheit. And in summer, summer is basically mid-June to mid-August. That's summer. Like my parents, they stay in a camping place during summer because he's going to fish. He has a boat on the marina and he fish all summer. But at the beginning of September, they have to leave. It's too cold. Okay. Here in Montreal, we're super cool and we're in t-shirt outside probably until December. You know.
Well,
sometime.
Yeah.
Like there's a
We call it sweater weather.
I mean, we had snow here on the beginning of January.
That's
I mean,
true.
we
this
had
year.
snow before, but the winter didn't really start before 2 weeks ago.
That's true.
Okay. So
Technically.
so for people judging me right now,
Yeah.
I've been working in this town where you can't do much. It's super annoying. It's a very good place for like winter activities and go hunt, go fish. That's pretty much it. Like, and my work environment was in a basement in my bedroom where I sleep also.
Yep.
And it's 4 white fucking walls. Okay, no frame
No
anywhere.
TV? Was there a screen other than the computer?
Hey, I had the luxury to have 2 screens. Oh my G's. Like it was 217. At the time, I had 2 LG 17 inches square. They were super fancy with some chrome, and oh geez, I was happy. That changed my life. But and you don't want to know what I was doing remotely. And at that time, I would be working facing a freaking white wall. You know, with another white wall here.
Yeah.
And I would just be all freaking day doing my work that I didn't really like. Right?
There we
I
go,
liked the result of it. I didn't like to do it because there was a lot of statistics involved and I had to follow that, and there was sales involved, and that I enjoyed monitoring. I enjoyed doing things that influence the results and the numbers and things like that, but doing it, I didn't really enjoy it. And so I did that for over 2 years in that bedroom. So I would get up, and I wasn't training. I was just getting fat and
So
get my coffee.
Yeah, your association with working from home is
terrible, for sure.
It's terrible,
It's terrible.
from what it sounds like.
I would just get a coffee, go start working around 7 in the morning, spend the whole freaking day working.
Yeah.
And then I lay on this bed at night.
Where you just spend the day working
I
right
would
across
not be in that bedroom for 2 years for about maybe, I don't know, 4 hours a day, 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
So I saw it, you know, I saw it. It was fine. It was fine. I needed a job at the time. I was really craving for one.
Right.
I got it. That's what actually
you gotta
brought
do what
me
you
here.
gotta do.
And if I had no patience at the time, I would not be here today, right? So because that's what, you know, make this happen, like this company happen, and this service we're giving.
Right.
So this has nothing to do with you know, the fancy computers today and the fast computer and working from home once a week, and you know, so I did see this side of the medal for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You come from every angle.
Yep. That was a pretty good talk,
Yeah.
Tess.
I agree. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. It really means a lot to us. And it would mean even more to us if you would just hit that button, smash that button, like that button, punch that button, flick that button, lick that button.
Whoa. Phrasing test, phrasing. Just click on that button. Please subscribe. It would mean a lot to us. And please comment, whether on YouTube or Twitter, let us know what you thought.